think we're there, buddy.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Do we have anyone here in? Looks like we do have some folks here. Welcome, everyone.
Got a lot of people here. That's awesome.
A lot of the same names coming back, which we appreciate you guys coming back with us. I'm Joe the farmer, and I've got my buddy Tony with me for Tony's Tractor Adventure. Not plural, just adventure. And he asked me to do like a nice little low voice Barry Manilow intro today. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the show. It's good to see you. It's good to be seen. Grab yourself a cognac and a cigar. Sit back, relax, and let Tony take you for a ride. How was that? It was pretty bad.
I'm blushing, man. My goodness.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's got the old monotone going tonight. Got a face for radio, I guess.
That's right. Got a face for radio.
That's right. How's everyone doing?
We got a lot of people in here.
Yeah. So glad to have everyone back. This is fun. This is becoming like a Tuesday hang. I like it.
Yep.
Excited about tonight.
Is there anybody here for the first time?
Me.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I do need to do our intro here for our sponsor.
Okay.
And they're giving away a tractor, so this is interesting. That's pretty cool. We're gonna give away 2 tractors actually. So let me throw this up there, and we'll be right back with y'all. Bear with us.
Design your world with the TYM Sweepstakes. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary in the U.S. with a chance to win one of 2 TYM 3515 hydrostatic tractors. Share your story of how you'd use your brand new TYM tractor on your property for a chance to win. Snap a pic or short video of your yard, field, or project. Describe how you'd use the versatile, shiny red TYM 3515 hydrostatic tractor. Register and upload it at the link provided in the video description. Want extra entries? Share on LinkedIn. Keep up with the giveaway by following TYM on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
That's so cool. They're going to give 2 tractors away. I'm excited about that. And that's coming up probably, 4 more weeks?
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks already, I believe, isn't it? Getting close to 2 weeks.
Yeah. And so you have to snap a picture of your yard or do a video of your yard and kind of talk about what you're going to do with it? Is that?
I don't read directions.
I don't either. I heard it, and I heard some pretty smooth music on in the background. So
I was like, okay. They told me I couldn't put in for it, so I was like, well, I ain't reading the directions.
Yeah,
I did. I will put in the description of this video. I will put the actual link and everything. After this video is done, I'll go upload it. Awesome. But I got something. Can I show you something? Because we did something. I got a video coming out tonight. It's not a premiere or anything, but it's something that my family has started doing, and I wanted to share it with you. It's a little short clip, if you don't mind.
Yeah, man. We'll see it.
All right.
We're at Bones Kayaking Campground right off the Buffalo River. And I don't even know what town this is actually near. It's not even near anything, but you can look up Bones Kayak and Campground, and they're on the internet. Find on Google. Here we go. We are at the river entrance here. We're 11 miles down the Buffalo River. Getting some last minute stuff done on the kayak.
I got tricked into this.
Got tricked in. We told her it was going to be 5 miles, and it's actually 11. So it's an all-day event.
That was true.
So this is pretty awesome. There's Sonia, our daughter, and Baby the dog. And there's Tanya.
That little dog did awesome the whole day.
This is actually living right here. It's beautiful.
You would look awesome right in between all that. My Argo.
There you go. 7-hour.
Running down through that.
Just blast the Argo right through the center of it. 700 cc's of floating amphibious power.
So, you got some things going on.
I do. It's been a big week for me. If anyone's watched, William Propert said, "Where's Troy?" He's coming. He's in holding right now. We
got a jailbreak him.
That's right. We're gonna jailbreak him here in a second. But yeah, man, I got my new tractor. Got my TYM tractor. Really had a nice time. Do you have a couple pictures maybe you can put up there and show our friends here?
Do. I got them. I got it all figured out. Look at my technical skills here.
It's impressive, man. The sharpest man in Paris, Tennessee, right there. So this is a TYM 5520CH, which means cab and hydrostat. It's a 55 horsepower machine, and it's a Branson legacy model. And I will say, I love a diesel engine, and the 2515 has a phenomenal diesel sound, but this one, it's close, man. I love the sound of that and the tone of that engine.
Now that one's yours is turbo. The 5520 is turbo, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I'll tell you this. I've done I think it's the 4820 and the 5520 are basically the exact same tractors, and the one's turbo and one's not, and you got about 7 more horsepower. But the turbo, when you get into like deep bush hogging, it's gonna have the lugging power that the non-turbo won't have. I'm not, I said some applications it's not important, but when you're going to do like heavy PTO stuff, like mowing with that pat on ears, that is going to be a game changer, because that turbo will, man, it'll just let it dig where you'll run out of power on a naturally aspirated pretty quick. Like,
yeah, so that 5520 is not going to, I mean, that won't push the, and someone said that the live's not working on my channel. I'm not sure why it wouldn't be, but
I don't see it on yours either. Yeah, I show Troy's on both. I don't have yours.
Yeah, when I'm going in here and
did you push the live button?
Yeah, I mean it's set the go live August 13th. Are you showing me in your menu?
No, I'm not showing.
Well, we may just have to ask everyone to go over to Tony's channel and just watch it from there. I'm still new to this whole live thing, and I did the same thing. Facebook and Facebook and YouTube both. It seems like every day is a new learning curve with both of them.
Right.
So,
well, I don't think you can ever top me a couple of weeks ago when I didn't actually push the go live button.
So, we did a third of the show without.
Yeah, we literally did like 7 or 8 minutes of the show, and then we're all looking at each other like, everybody's saying we're not live yet, and I forgot to push live. So,
well, real quickly before we bring Troy in, I want to talk about our upcoming guests we have coming on.
Yeah, talk about it. Does your tractor have something to do with it?
Well, we're going to talk about my tractor a lot, but not right now.
Go ahead.
Yeah, super excited about that, guys. Yeah, like seriously, it's a blessing to have that connection and have that relationship with TYM to be able to play with some new machines, and I'm excited about that. But it's fall. I know a lot of you guys are wildlife watchers and even deer watchers, and I think that it'd be kind of cool. And Tony and I were talking about how we can, maybe shift gears a little bit and go from tractors and homestead talk to actually maybe some gamekeeping talk or wildlife management talk. So I've got some relationships with some great people in the industry, very knowledgeable people. So on August 27th, that Tuesday, we're going to have George Cummins from Buck Bourbon. He actually started Buck Bourbon as an outfitter. So George has been an outfitter in Kentucky. The man is, yeah, I am too. And I hate to say nice things about him because, he's already got a big enough head, but he started Buck Bourbon, which, if you're not familiar with that, that's an attractant that is sold at a lot of stores. Tractor Supply has it, and I believe a lot of other big box stores have it. And Buck Bourbon started as an attractant that they used distiller grains because they're in Kentucky, not far from all the bourbon distilleries, and they built this attractant really to help the outfitter grow their outfitting business to bring more healthy deer and help the hunters. So when that launched as a product, it kind of just took off. Like it's a great product, and George knows everything there is to know about whitetail. So I think it's going to be valuable. We talked about maybe dispelling like the top 5 or top 10, myths of whitetail. Like if you guys have things, email me, email Tony, just some questions. If you have some, the things like your granddad used to say,
and
right?
On that day, do the chat for sure. Ask questions. This guy's going to know. Yeah, I'm going to.
If he doesn't, make it up.
My deer food plot viewing food plot. Yeah, that's what it is. My deer viewing food plot. I'm getting ready to put one in too. So, and you got somebody else coming up on the 3rd of September. What was it?
Yeah, so we have Mike Lindell. He's from Domain Outdoors, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right because I believe it's Lindahl, but I don't want to say Mike Lindell because that's like the MyPillow guy, and he's not the MyPillow guy. So,
right.
We
got him on next week.
That's right. The MyPillow guy is going to come on and talk to you about slippers and Giza cotton sheets or something. But Mike started Domain Outdoors. Domain has all kinds of food plot seed, and what I really like about them is that they have a system. So the system goes from like fertilizing and preparing your soil and what seed is best and what climate and when to plant. And what I like about Mike is he's very, very relaxed about this. He's not one of those guys where, he's super rigid and makes being in the outdoors a chore. He actually makes it a lot of fun. And, he's laid back. He has a podcast called Beers and Bucks Podcast. So if you guys want to check that out beforehand, but that's going to be September 3rd. And we'll just do like a 2-week wildlife management series, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. And please, any questions you have about, deer in general and hunting deer, that will be the 27th. And then September 3rd is more like gamekeeping and wildlife management. Mike's a good deer hunter too, but just let us know.
Well, that brings us up to Troy, which is over here waiting in jail. and we're going to pull him in here. But I want to show him a little clip. He's pretty much an outdoorsman too. He does a lot of regenerative homesteading, and let's throw his little clip on, and we'll bring him on afterwards. You got anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Here we go.
Red Tool House details our homesteading journey in the heart of West Virginia. For over 24 years now, we have tried to build a more self-reliant lifestyle. Our channel covers topics from sawmilling, raising pigs and other livestock on pasture, off-grid projects, permaculture, and forest management. Kelly and I are always ready to take on new projects and explore new homesteading opportunities.
There he is.
All right.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Troy?
Oh, you know, just my blood pressure.
So, quick story. I'm going to start this off telling this story. You guys know what I'm going to talk about. So, Troy from Red Tool House, back when I was still in the Army on active duty, I had a bug for a sawmill. So I'm in Afghanistan, and we had some pretty poor internet, but I could sit around and wait for a little circle of, to build up enough where I could watch some videos. And I was watching Troy's videos on sawmills. I don't even know what year that was. 2000, I think it was 2011 or 12, somewhere there. You still had your old sawmill. So,
yeah, that would have been a while back ago. The Lumbermate 2000.
Yeah, that was some of the first one I remember, and I followed him periodically throughout that whole time. Every time I get the little bug for sawmilling, so we go to a show. We went up to Canada about 3 weeks ago, and next thing you know, I'm standing beside the dude, and it took me like a whole day to realize, I recognize his channel, and then we were just sitting in a meeting talking about stuff, and it just kind of dawned on me. He's like, wait a minute. I watched that guy in Afghanistan. It just blew me away. So it was a very humbling moment for me. It meant a lot to me. So more than you really know, man.
Well, I appreciate that, man. That's
you
awesome.
were bringing peace to peace and comfort to people around the world.
Yeah, that still blows my mind to hear that. It's just tough to wrap your brain around, to think that broadcasting from the abyss of Central West Virginia, that it affects or people all around the world it reaches. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, and every guy there that was around me, some of my peers like Sawmills too are all sitting around watching stuff, because reality is the internet was horrible. So you just kind of, if somebody had the little circle and went around long enough and there was something playing, we all watched it because that was all there was playing right then. So
something calming about that, man. Seeing like the big logs in the sawmill and the grains come through, and then you pour the water on there, brush it off. It's like car detailing videos. It's a good watch.
Got some. There's old Bill.
Yeah, I see Billy on there.
Let's see here.
That's great.
Kevin. I'm trying. I'm getting a late start at popping you guys up here and showing, but
hola.
Let's see who else in this. There's my buddy right there. I'm coming to Maine. I'm going up to Maine in Turner somewhere around the 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. I'll be at a show up there. So he's up there from Maine.
Awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we got it up?
Yeah, Scott, I saw earlier that you said that YouTube keeps deleting your subscription. I don't understand, but it is what it is.
That's right.
Thank you for sticking with me, though.
My Air Force buddy there says that we had all of the luxuries, and he knows that's just the opposite. Those guys, I mean, they had the best of everything. We would come out of the field to go visit their facilities because they had better facilities than we did.
Rusty Garage at Homestead, thank you. It's our new Tuesday ritual also.
Yep.
Start the show with a little technical difficulty, banter between Tony and I, and actually someone that people want to hear talk. So it's great.
Oh, I see Hank. Hank's on there.
Yeah, y'all pray for Hank. My boy got sick. He got a little dehydrated, was feeling pretty rough, got vertigo today. And so y'all give him a prayer. I stopped. His wife told me to stop and pray for him, so I did. And but apparently it worked because he's feeling better.
That's good.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, Hank. It's been hot, man. It's been so hot.
The fervent prayers of a righteous man availeth much, Tony. So you must be a righteous man.
Well, I always say that I'm a practicing Christian. I'm still practicing.
Still practicing. I hear you, man.
Yeah, Tony and I say often we don't just want Jesus, we need Jesus. So
oh my goodness, that's a fact right there now. I don't
brother.
Yeah. Let's see, we got some new names coming in here, man. There must be some people coming over from your site, Troy, because I don't recognize these people.
Yeah, I recognize Kevin Blevins.
Yeah. I went to that name Blevins popped up. It was a guy, a captain in the Army. I remember him, Blevins. Ain't thought of that name in a good while. Wheeler Farm, prayers work. That's right, buddy. All right, so I did my homework this time.
Uh-oh. I didn't know it was gonna be a test.
Yeah, there's gonna be a test. I got notes and everything, and this time I don't even have stupid facts or nothing.
Oh man, I was looking forward to that.
Oh, there we go. Yep, everybody was hoping Hank will be feeling better. Let's see, Monday night, My Clutter Garage, and Tuesday. I really wanted to get on Ed's My Clutter Garage last night, but at 7:30 I was up on a roof putting 1,920 roofing screws in with my wife, and we got it done though. It was a blessing.
Sounds like a pretty good excuse.
Yeah, that was probably the best one so far. Yeah, there's no reason to ever shy away from our faith, and I don't want to be the dude when the rooster crows the third time.
Right.
Try not to be anyway. I'm sure I would be in real life, but hello there, Tony Price.
So you want to do something funny, Tony?
Go ahead, do it.
Sorry. So I gave you so many hard times about not pushing
I know. I already know.
And there's a little blue thing up here that says go live to your audience, which I didn't realize. And I clicked it, and I think it should be live now. So I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh man, the worm has turned.
I didn't want to say it. Yeah, the world turned us.
We're on level ground now.
That's all right, man.
So Troy, how long is that pipe?
Long enough to reach my mouth.
That looks like one of the, those Werther's original commercials, or no, the Ricola. It looks like the Ricola guys.
No, this is
Ricola. We were going to strike for me doing that.
This is called a church warden. So yeah, it's a longer pipe. I thought it would be
that's cool,
appropriate sitting out here, and that way I don't have to lean into the camera too much. So
yeah.
Troy told me a cool story about when we were up in Canada. He was talking about like every place he goes that he tries to go find a local mix of pipe tobacco, and that he was so passionate about it.
Yeah, it's been a nice little hobby. It's it's one of those things you got to do. You got to do anything in moderation, of course, but it really helps me think, because you tend to, it's like tending a campfire. You gotta keep it lit and all that type of stuff, and it just allows me to sit out here and just think and reflect on projects, but also get to sit here in God's beautiful creation and just enjoy the time. And somebody's asking what's in the pipe. It's just tobacco. That's all I do. This is actually called Country Melody. It's from one of our local tobacconists here in Charleston, West Virginia. So
let's protest too much.
Yeah. I like to go all over anywhere I go. Like you said, Tony, I try to find somebody that's got somebody that specializes in that. They're called tobacconists, and they usually have their own custom blend. And so that's what I like doing that. So yes, this is Savinelli. Somebody asked. Yes.
Very so good. I didn't do the stupid, or useless facts. And look here, somebody's helping me out. I forgot to download useless facts, so somebody come out. Giraffes are 30 times more likely to be struck by lightning than a human. That stands to reason.
Man, I love the our friends in the comments, giving the facts, because we don't have to check them. You can make them up if you want to. It's fine. But so Tony shared a story about him watching his experience watching Troy, and I remember watching Troy years ago, and I actually said it to him earlier before we came in, where he was sitting on the back of a 2004 Coyote DK something. I don't remember what it was. I think a 35 or something.
DK35. Still have it. On it. Sitting on it today, actually.
Well, I just remember you talking about the RK tractors, and when that whole thing was kind of hot, when they first came out and first really started making a push on social media, I remember seeing them everywhere. And I think that's one of the first videos I saw of yours. That's actually how I really started enjoying watching your channel. How did your channel start? Like, what made you grab a camera and just decide to start telling a story?
Well, it's funny. It started with the whole pig farming. So, we're here in a spot where there's not a lot of pig farms in central West Virginia, especially ones that are doing outdoor pigs on pasture, regenerative type style. So what I had to do to sell to customers, I had to convince them. I was like, okay, why am I selling an $8 pork chop when I can go get a 99-cent pork chop at Walmart or at Kroger or something like that? And so I thought, well, I need to do some videos, just kind of show this is how the pig lives out, and this is how they get to forage, and this is how I treat them, and then the grass they get in. Here's a pig being a pig, all that type of stuff.
Yeah,
so I put those videos out, and then noticed there's other people watching, and I thought, well, okay, I've never been short of words, so I thought, well, I'll just keep this going. And so it's if I'm not encouraging anybody to do this, my goodness, because there's like 800 and some videos out there, but if you would start from the first one and go all the way, you just see all this. I mean, it's just, things go from one to another. It's like trying different styles, trying different edits, probably went through 6 different camera setups, all that kind of stuff. So
that's cool, man. It is interesting whenever you meet someone who's a content creator, very few times did they ever say like, well, I just want to be rich and famous. A lot of times it starts with a story like that. I mean, a business and, trying to just really kind of reach people. And that's my buddy Dale saying, if it's storming, he'll stand 20 feet from me.
I'm going to stand right beside you. You're going to be the one to get struck. I'll be safe because he towers.
Yeah. Hey, I got to give a shout out. So I just saw that Thomas Schmidt Homestead Projects, he popped up here, and Tom's been really good to give me some input. He has taught me from New York how to do more extraction with cable and snatch blocks and all that type of stuff, because he was in the recovery business forever. And this cat sends me 100-foot cable, and that's how I fish trees out of the woods where I can't get to them with my tractor. He's come down and bought a boar off of me, so it's kind of neat to see him on here. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. Welcome, Thomas.
Oh, sorry, push wrong one. You guys,
another pipe guy.
You guys clicking too fast. So I'm trying to get everybody's comments popped up there that are interesting. So, but anyway, I got some questions for you, or really just some talking comments. So you guys,
what's a talking comment, Tony?
Well, listen, just you sit there and I'll tell you what it is. Okay, just go push your live button. So we're building a cabin, and so I've been following Troy's cabin build. And talk us through your cabin a little bit, man. I watched all of it right up to, I said this morning I was watching some more of it where you got up on the roof and got in a little bad way. Yeah. And I can totally relate to that because I do not like heights at all. And so talk us through it a little bit, man. That if you guys have not seen that, you need to go watch his playlist on the cabin.
Yeah. So we decided to so the eastern part of our state is where our tall mountains are. So that's where you get up, 4,000, 5,000 feet in elevation. And I've always wanted to have a place of my own out there. So, Lord blessed us right before COVID, finding a little 2-acre lot up there just on the edge of the national forest. And we went up there for several years, just pitching a tent, and even then built a little picnic shelter where we could put the tent under that. So at least you wouldn't get blasted with rain. And then my folks, I'm blessed to have both of my folks still alive and still active, and so they have an RV, one of the big slide-in truck camper type deals.
Your dad's amazing, by the way.
Yeah, dad's pretty cool. And so I'm thinking, well, that becomes a seasonal thing for them. I want to spend more time with them while they're still active. The Lord's going to call them home at some point. They're almost 80, and it's just one of those things. But so, at the cabin, it's more it's not seasonal. We could be up there in the wintertime and do that type of stuff. So Dad and I, what's crazy? So Dad and I sat down and we designed this cabin from scratch. Buddy of mine's a structural engineer, so I had him look at it to make sure I wasn't doing anything stupid. And he said, "Yeah, you're right on point." Made a couple suggestions, and so my mom and dad, Kelly and I and the boys, and then good friends of mine, Matt and Heather Griffith, we built that cabin in 5 days. We got it under roof in 5 days. And
Wow.
And it was a blast. We had fun up until, what Tony was saying. I got up to, some dummy when he designed it decided to build, like, I think it's a 14/12 pitch roof, so it is steep. And
yeah, it is pretty steep.
Story and a half, and on the back side of it, it's, we're on a little bit of a slope, so the back side of it's already 5 feet off the ground. So it was pretty high, and I'm up there trying to put that ridge cap. Well, the ridge cap, of course, you can't tie off, you can't do anything like that. I wasn't going to screw the anchor back through the metal roof and have to worry about sealing it back up. So
yeah,
I get up there and I'm trying to do it, and I'm trying to Spider-Man crawl out there to screw it down. I can't do it. And at one point I dropped the ridge cap and had a bit of a panic attack because I was up there and it's like, I got to get off this roof right now. And at that time, Dad was, I think, 76 or 77. Dad shimmied up that ladder and he just kind of crow hopped all the way across that ridge cap, putting it down and came back down. I'm like, that's crazy to get shown up by a 76-year-old dude.
Yeah,
but
built
it's
different.
awesome to get shown up by a 76-year-old dude who's your father. So
built different.
Yeah,
that's all right though. But the cabin's awesome. I really enjoy it. And I like the fact, like, you're telling everybody how you're doing the off-grid power, and you're just walking us through one step at a time.
Yeah.
As you learn it, because you're not trying to come in there and say you know everything.
Oh yeah, no,
and that's really cool, because that lets people learn. Because I'm playing with solar too, and as a man, sometimes I don't want to admit that I don't know something.
Right.
I mean, surely not, but
Tony calls me to feel smart.
That's right. So anyway,
I know nothing about solar or electric, and Tony's he doesn't give himself credit. Tony's pretty dialed in with that stuff, but I feel left out because I don't have a cabin. You guys both have cabins.
There you go.
Well, you got a whole farm with another house on it. You got a cabin.
I got a cabin, but I mean,
it's fancy.
It's not cool. It's not like, it's cool, but it's not,
No, I think it's pretty cool, man. He's got a cool
place. Buddy Nathan.
Nathan in the house?
Yeah.
Nathan's in the house.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. It goes to the diesel fund.
Yeah.
Nathan, you don't need to be giving any money to anyone, buddy. You're spending a whole lot of money on gravel right now.
Man, that's a fact.
My friend, he's
I can't figure out, is it 4 tons, 3 tons, or 5 tons? I mean,
all of it.
If you watch that video, if you watch this last video, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Hey, so Nathan's coming up. He's coming up to our homesteading conference that we're hosting next month.
Right.
He's going to be one of our keynote speakers. So he's going to be sharing his sawmill wisdom. So I'm anxious to hang out with him for a weekend.
You're talking about somebody got some sawmill wisdom that he's forgot more than I'll ever know.
Oh no, yeah, that dude, you cut him, he bleeds sawdust. That's what I like. It's awesome.
Right there. Hey, before we get too far down, I had somebody here I thought you might want to respond to. Does that mean something to you?
I named my first trailer. Awesome. That's cool. That's cool, man. Thank you, Thundertrod Permaculture. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, if you watch it, a rooster named Troy is going to do all kinds of stupid stuff, though.
So, Troy, I've heard you describe permaculture. For anyone who doesn't understand that, can you kind of give a 10,000-foot view of permaculture? Isn't it like you start with a homestead and you kind of build around in rings?
Well, permaculture, and anybody that's a true permaculturalist is probably rolling their eyes thinking, why in the world is Troy explaining permaculture? Because permaculture can almost become a religion. Yeah, because it's this earth care, people care, that type of thing.
Right.
And I'm all about those things as well. I mean, we have to be good stewards of God's creation, but there's just so much common sense when it comes to permaculture. But permaculture basically just means permanent agriculture. So it's trying to get away from annual type stuff that takes a whole bunch of inputs. And then there's aspect of what's called function stacking. So one thing does multiple. So just an example, this video that we just did on Sunday was to me a good example of function stacking. I had some storm damage, had a top of a hickory tree break out just above our fixed chicken run area. And I needed to get that cleaned up because the autumn olive was starting to grow up through it, bunch of deadfall that need to be cleaned up. But I need more wood chips in my chicken run. and I also need some biochar. That's really good with building soil. And I need all that cleaned up so I can move my mobile chicken coop up to a spot that, because we're on such slope, that's the only way I can get from point A to point B. So I'm going to kind of close that area off. So the fact of going up and cleaning up, I'm stacking hickory that's too big to chip for firewood. It's giving me a thumb down. And then I'm making wood chips with the smaller brush to throw it over into the chicken run, anything that was green or whatever. And then the real dry hickory treetop pieces, I was putting in a little biochar kiln. Kelly was tending that for me. And so we were making biochar while we were making wood chips, while we were cleaning up an area. And that's a perfect example of function stacking. So if we're going to burn diesel and we're going to burn gas in the chainsaw, let's use that, be as productive as possible. And then what you're talking about with the zones is just kind of laying out your homestead or your farm to look at these rings. Imagine like a bullseye. That's your home. Where you're at every day is zone 0. And then zone 1 would be things that you have multiple times contact with during the day. That could be a garden. That could be chickens or something like that. And you just keep going out till you get to like zone 6, 7, which is, this is kind of the forest I'm not going to touch, or some grasslands I'm not going to touch. I'm just going to be kind of a steward of it. And so it's kind of neat to look at those type of things and just see, even in gardening, instead of planting, okay, I'm going to do a whole section of just tomatoes. You come in and you do guilds, so you do companion planting and those type of things. But I'm more into the perennials. Kelly's into all the annuals. So we have this interesting conflict. Like my elderberry plants, they grow really big and they hang out over her certain sections of her garden and shade out her plants. But she's like, I keep cutting that stupid elderberry back and it keeps growing. it's like, yeah, that thing will outlive us because it's massive. But yeah, it's exciting. It's a neat idea. I embrace that. I don't get into the religious Zen part of it, which not everybody does. But it's just, anything can be taken to an extreme, and sometimes permaculture gets taken to that extreme.
It's a cycle. I mean, it's a cycle like you said. I mean, when God developed this environment for us all to live in, I mean, if you ever look at if it moves 1 degree one way or the other, the entire thing just topples. Right. Just somehow
planet's one mile further out or 1 mile closer in. Everything goes haywire.
Yep, it's immaculate design.
Hey, we got another useless piece of information here. Our commenters are pulling me out for not printing off some useless facts.
Oh, I saw Kevin had one. He said that what was the fact he had up there, Kevin? That if you hit the go live button, your video goes live.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that was too funny.
That's a pretty useful fact. Yeah, I mean, we're learning, friends.
I want to bring in your wife a little bit on this. I've been watching your videos of the cabin, and I've seen your wife Kelly is a big part of your. She's your partner for sure in a lot of these projects. She's in there working side by side with you.
Yeah. So we've been married 29 years. So she's put up with a lot of foolishness for a long time.
Should she get an award?
She should. And what's funny, guys, if people had met us back in, we bought the place in 2000. So if you had met us in 2000, I wanted to move out in the middle of nowhere because I hated people. I just didn't want to be around people because I was living in Orlando before that.
I can relate to that.
It's just a pain in the neck. But what's crazy is, so when I bought this place was absolutely gutted. There's my best friend, Matt Griffith. Thanks, Matt. This place was absolutely gutted. It had tons of garbage on it, all that type of stuff. And we had just moved back from Florida. I brought Kelly down, showed her this place, and there was about 3 inches of snow on the ground. So these mounds of snow were actually just, a couple inches of snow on all this garbage. So she didn't see all the garbage. And I said, well, I've got a vision for this place. It'll be great. And so she's like, okay, yeah, I guess we can buy it. Got an incredible deal. That's one of the videos that really got our channel going, was us just talking about the great deal we got on our property. But when we closed on the property, and I said, okay, I now want to go down and start building a small 24 by 32 apartment that we're going to live in. She's like, you're serious about moving down there, aren't you? And I said, yeah. She said, well, I just thought maybe it was going to be like a hobby property, that you weren't really serious about moving down there. And that poor girl, she cried for 3 days because she thought, I'm going to be living in the middle of nowhere. I cannot believe I'm going to be moving to this part of the country. And fast forward now, she homeschooled both the boys here. man, you couldn't run her off this property if you had to. She loves this place and just, you know, sees the benefits of it now. And I'd like to think I had something to do with it, but I know it's just, you know, she's a smart girl. She knows what's important and what's foolish. So she was able to discern that. And it's been a real blessing to have her working side by side. We do farm meetings on a regular basis. We had one last night actually out here on the porch, and we just cast vision, man. Just dream. Yeah, we're getting in that, you know, the downhill side of life, but we're still casting vision. We're still dreaming about doing some things and
right, don't ever lose the dream. That's the key.
No.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Listen, if your dad's on the roof at 78 years old, man, you've got some time on your side, my friend.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping I can get those genetics. Yeah, we always joke we come from a line of long livers. You know, they're about that long.
Yeah.
Here we go. Behind every man is a woman rolling her eyes.
Right, exactly.
Kevin, I'd argue with that, man. My wife is, when it comes to farm, look, she rolls her eyes about a bunch of stuff. So you're right, but when it comes to the farm stuff and the land, I mean, she, man, you would think that you had to bring someone, you know, kicking and screaming, but Holly loves the farm as much as I do, if not more. I mean, she's right. Just
same time.
Yeah, it's just, you find a woman who loves the outdoors, and if she's pretty, also, I mean,
it's a win-win right there.
That's a lottery ticket right there. I mean, you find a good-looking woman who loves the country, then there's.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So my wife, she grew up in like a small, you know, suburb of a city, if you will, more a city girl, and we first started talking about moving out the country. She was not on board 100%, and then the more and more she got her head wrapped around. Now, like you said, I could not. I mean, she would not move back to the city, no matter what I tried to entice her with. It would not work. She loves her chickens, and she loves her animals. She wants to have one of every animal. We can't eat any of them; they're all pets, but we do get to eat the eggs. That's it. But got a quick question there. So, how old are we? I'm in my mid-50s.
Yeah, I just hit 51.
Yeah, Joe, you're the
45.
pup, right? Yeah,
45. I turned 45 just in April. My wife is an older woman, man. She's 39 days older than me.
Oh Lord.
Wow. Yeah.
Tell you what, man.
I robbed the cradle.
Yeah, you did. You did.
That's 5. She's 5, almost 5 years younger than me. I married the baby, and I'm gonna tell you right now, that was tough on me up front with the family. But now, you know, 33 years later, yeah, I get it. They know I get it.
So, Rusty Garage Homestead said, my wife was from the city. She moved in with me where I grew up. She won't ever go back to the city. She loves it out here. I don't know if you all, I mean, I'm sure you guys remember the show Green Acres. I remember being a kid watching that show, and to this day, it's still a great show. If y'all ever pull that up and watch it, man, it's just,
yeah, it's good. It's a cool show.
It still carries, man. It's a good show. Jaja Gabor, wasn't that her name?
Yeah. Well, that was Ava Gabor, actually. Jaja
was it?
Sister. Yeah. Jaja Ava was the one in the show. Yeah.
Okay.
Right here.
Kevin's
That
47.
was for my wife right there. Pets are our friends and delicious food. I make the joke, but it's so true. Our chickens have a you know, health benefits and a retirement program. You know, so we do not get to eat the chickens. They go into the sunset.
Happy birthday! Who's your handyman? He's 59 tomorrow.
All right, 59. Let's see there.
Happy 59th, brother.
Yeah,
the first ones to say it.
Yeah, that's amazing too. Well, I got I've had both my knees replaced. Let me tell you, when I got down pretty low there, and Tanya, she carried the weight. So I understand, brother.
Well, you have to have your knees replaced because you were carrying the weight.
I carried rucksacks, and you know, and jumped off
problem right there.
and jumped off of things I shouldn't be jumping off of, and trucks and tanks and whatever else I could bail off of. I remember an old sergeant telling me way back when I was a young man, "Don't jump off them trucks; it's going to tear your knees up." I had my Superman shirt on and everything, you know.
Mm-hmm. Not me. All right, Thomas Schmidt Homestead Projects turned 59 yesterday. Happy birthday, Thomas.
That's 2 in here, 59.
Yeah,
I know. Here's Debbie Gallimore. Hi to her 2 little brothers. I assume she's talking about Tony and I.
Yeah,
Debbie, I sure would like some hats. Just saying. Just saying. Debbie is Tony's sister, and she makes custom hats. And
she
she's
does
making me
embroidery.
She does embroidery or
Yeah.
embroidery, as others would call it.
Man, no, it's embroidery, man. I'm from Weakley County.
That just sounds a little. It sounds like something a godly man wouldn't say. Embroidery. That sounds like something you do time for. I did some time for embroidery. But she has found a hookup on some XL hats because I've got a massive melon, so I'm excited about trying those things out.
Joe, why don't you have your Joe and Joe the Farmer under your name like everybody else?
Because my channel's Joe the Farmer.
Yeah, but
I'm so creative that I came up with
Joe.
I was on that farm and I was like, well,
I can't really
the farmer, I guess.
I can't say nothing anyway. Troy's the only one's got a pretty interesting name.
That's such a cool name.
How did you come up with that anyway? I mean, I don't know if I watched back that far. Red Tool House. How did that name come about? Is there a Red Tool House somewhere back there in a long time ago?
Yeah. So so obviously this area of West Virginia is big in natural resources, right? So coal, gas, and believe it or not, crude oil. West Virginia had an oil boom back in the late 1800s. So on my farm, 100 acres, there are 9 capped oil and gas wells. So they're inactive, but at one time there were 9 working wells just in this 100-acre valley. And the old tool house used to sit on the very back of the ridge where the county road used to be. Now it's just, that's a 4-wheeler path. But there used to be a red tool house that sat there. And there was an old fellow, when we bought the place, there's an old fellow that his entire family owned this entire area at one time back in the early 1800s. And he was 90 something when we bought it in 2000. And he was kind of like the neighborhood historian. So he's the one that told me about all of it. And I thought, that's just neat. Red Tool House. I love tools. I love working on stuff. I love the fact that my property out of all the area around here from the original farm is the parcel that had the Red Tool House. So I thought, and that's just unique. It's one of those things when you come to trying to name something on YouTube, you want to have something unique. So I thought, well, there's not too many Red Tool Houses out there. So
that is cool.
That's how we got there.
All right. I'm such a poor host. Joe, pull me out, man. I'm trying.
I think you're doing great. So
I'm trying Kevin. I'm pushing buttons.
Kevin said, what I like about this, it's like sitting around the fire and chatting about the day. Man, that is exactly our goal.
Except with air conditioning.
Yeah. Amen, brother. Right. Especially right now. I was actually thinking today, I was like, this wintertime, we keep this thing rolling. If everybody wants us to keep it going, it's going to be cold outside. We can do a little live and just enjoy each other's company when we're stuck in the house. We'll be complaining about it being too cold instead of complaining about it being too hot. Holly said yesterday, she's like, all we're doing is complaining about how hot it is. I was like, well, yeah, because it's really hot.
It was really
hot. My new tractor is air conditioning though, Tony.
Yeah. Hey, let's look at that tractor one more time.
You want to put that picture up one more time?
One more time. You're not proud of that at all, are you? That is a good looking tractor.
It is. Yeah. What's funny is that orange brush hog on the back of a red tractor. That is a color clash.
I'd be all right.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to buy another one, but it's
go fast and the paint will come off eventually.
Eventually. Yeah. And no bugs, Bob. You're exactly right. No bugs. Man, I have been stung by red wasp more times in the past 2 years than I have in my entire life. I'm going to war with those things. CJ, what's up, buddy?
CJ there. Let's see, Troy. I was going to. Okay, this is a great lead in here. Troy, it looks like you're enjoying your new porch. Looks nice. So I want to show something here. Just a quick thing. So you guys don't know this, you need to go over and check this this video out. I watched it. It was one of them videos where you watch it and you watch the entire thing and don't really realize the time passed because you're into it. So I'm going to bring you over to a video, and this is where Troy's wife and his 2 boys went off to I think it was like a Bible camp. Is that right?
No, it's family reunion.
Family reunion. Well, close enough.
Yeah.
You could have just had my back, man.
Yeah. Well, they got preached at while they're down there, I'm sure. So.
I guarantee they did.
Lord's everywhere.
So this cat, Troy, decides he's going to build an entire pretty elaborate deck in 5 days. I'm going to tell you right now, I watched the whole video, and towards the end of that, boss, you were tired.
I was beat. Yeah, I was beat down.
So let me show you the last little clip. And this is, I just want you to show you this thing. I can scroll through it. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Share a screen. Right here, 5 days. Yeah, here we go. Look at me.
Wow.
Check that deck out. Now, this is what we started with over here. Let's see if I can. There's the plans. Right?
Yeah.
And then this is him out there. Hey, Troy, have you ever tried any of the Fast 2K?
Fast 2K. You know, what is that?
So instead of putting concrete in there, you put Fast 2K. It's a 2-part epoxy mix.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. So we built our farm off of it, and we've never had a failure. And literally, you put the post in there, and 30 minutes later, you can build on it. It's amazing.
Wow. I have to check
I put all my solar stuff. I was thinking about that when you were doing that. So, but anyway, let me scroll through here and kind of give them a little taste of this. And I want them to see your wife's. She come home with a flu.
Yeah.
And found that waiting on them.
She was wiped. Yeah.
Yeah, she was. That was a big trip. Man, you put a lot of work in this. I seen your dad over there in that too, doing some electric work. There you are, testing it out.
He just wanted to build that so he could. His wife got tired of the pipe being around the house.
Yeah.
That's a smoking porch.
Right. Yeah.
Here we go. This is them coming back from that trip, and she has no idea he did that.
Right.
He managed to. He said he lied to her more in that 5 days than he had an entire marriage.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
What's going on?
What the heck? Wow. This is awesome.
That is so cool, man.
So how was your trip?
It was good. Look at this. Oh my gosh. That's what that material was for.
Yeah, I wondered if I gave it away when you saw it there.
Well, of course not. How would I expect this? This is so awesome. You did this by yourself?
Yeah, Dad helped me. He helped me set the pergola up. He then helped me cut some trees.
This is beautiful.
Isn't it nice?
Oh my gosh.
So I thought that was pretty amazing.
That's
there.
awesome. That is awesome.
That warmed my heart, dude. I ain't gonna lie.
Cool.
I'm hard, but I don't show emotion too much. With that, I was sitting there like about ready to drop a tear.
Yeah. Well, and
Cool.
what made it interesting was I explained at the beginning of the video, when we built this house 20 years ago. Again, not thinking about things that were important to us then are not important to us now. So I'd build a totally different house if I was starting over again. So we built this porch. I'm looking over at the original porch. I kid you not, it is like an 8x8 slab of concrete just in front of the front door. And that's as much porch as we had out here in the country. We were supposed to have country porch.
Right.
And God bless my wife. She'd come out here with her coffee and her book on the mornings, cool mornings, and sit out on this little tiny postage stamp of concrete slab. And sometimes I'd come out. So we'd be sitting almost on top of one another. The dog would be there. And sometimes the boys would come out. And I thought, she would love to have a big porch to sit on, to read, to drink her coffee. And behind me, I took it down so it wasn't distracting, but I have her hammock here so she can now lay in her hammock. And what's crazy, she came home, as you said to him, she came home from that trip with just a raging flu. She felt horrible. And we had beautiful weather that week. It was all low 70s and low humidity. She lay out here all week on that hammock, just recuperating, keeping away from us so she wouldn't get us sick. And so it not only was just a great surprise, but it turned out to be a pretty good remedy for her as she navigated the flu.
Right.
That's awesome, man.
Hey, we got one for you, Joe.
Yes, sir. I saw that. So when my machine showed up, I was told that it was going to have third function, but I guess they don't have third function on the 5520. It's a diverter valve, right?
Right now.
So right now. So yeah, if there's a OEM third function kit, maybe I'll swap that out because my buddy Tony and I we've got a little plan, right?
And that come in, by the way.
Okay. Tony and I are going to do a little collaboration on. I'm not afraid to say, listen, Tony's worked on tanks and helicopters and all kinds of things. So his mechanical expertise, sometimes I have to call him and bribe him a little bit.
His own tanks and helicopters. not
well, it'd be fun if I had a tank and a helicopter. Well, not a helicopter. I wouldn't get in that thing.
Well, and to be honest, I didn't work on helicopters. I mean, I have been around them, but I didn't work on them. So, but a lot of
he's working on just about everything else. But yeah, Tony's going to help me do. I'll just tell you, we're going to put a third function on the 2515, which would be a fun video of how to do that with a. Yeah. Do you want to spill any more beans or no?
No, it's fine. Yeah, we've got a kit from Summit Hydraulics that we're going to put on, and we're actually working with Summit Hydraulics. So TYM is going to. They're updating the 2515. You know, it'll probably be a couple of years out. It'll come standard with third function versus diverter valve. And people don't. If you don't know. Third function, you push the button, something happens. You got two buttons, one push, one open, one push button, it closes, right? Well, in diverter valve, you have to push a button to energize a diverter valve, and then you pull the handle left or right, and that diverts the flow of your curl function, either up or down or in and out. And it's not as convenient. Once you work it, you get used to it. You don't think about it. But
yeah, a
true third function is so much better. Well, for all of those 2515s from the Branson models and also from the now the TYM models that are coming out with the diverter valve, they don't want that. Summit Hydraulic is working with us to develop a kit for the 2515 that will be, you order this kit, it'll have everything in it, and we're going to be the guinea pigs. So that we just got the kit in, and we're going to measure the hoses and get everything out and send all the information back for them, send pictures. And then obviously the video will be good because it'll help anybody install it. And I've done a lot of hydraulics, so I'm fairly knowledgeable in hydraulics. But anyway, that's enough tooting my horn. Thank you, Joe.
No, listen, that's why I'm not going to do it on my own. I'm going to have my friend Tony come help, and I'll be there for aesthetic, and I'll get Tony his water and coffee or whatever he needs while he's doing it, and
rub my feet.
Yeah. No, we're not. We're going to draw a line somewhere. Also, so if you guys tuned in and watched with Jake from
last
ITC
week.
Quick Attach last week, there he is. Here's our buddy. So he's working on something for the backhoe. They should solve the backhoe issue, because that backhoe, I mean, it's not a good scene to see me sitting on the backhoe because it's tight. It's real tight. So
it's tight for me. And then you're 6'5". Yeah, it's not.
No, I'm 6'4", but it's.
You shrunk?
Yeah, I'm not 6'5". I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm shrinking sometimes. I'll tell you what, when I go to my kids' school, these high school kids now, man, they're like, I don't know what to put in the water. These kids are huge.
Right.
I'm not used to looking eye to eye with people a whole lot, but then I'm walking around the hallways. There's some kids that are 6'7". I'm like, good Lord, what are you all eating? So
let's see if I got anything else on my list here. We've talked about pretty much everything. I was one thing I was looking at. So how did your beech table or that you built turn out? So I got a big old beech tree that blew over, and I've never sawmilled beech at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So talk me through it. What are your pros and cons about working with beech?
There's the table right there.
Right.
Yeah. So it stayed out on the porch, and of course it was just air dried, so it's doing okay. It's getting a little bit of lift on that top, but that's why I only attached it in the center. So beech, I really hadn't milled a lot of beech either, and beech is such a heavy wood. I mean, it's just so full of water. So getting it on the ground was one deal, and of course getting it down the mill was another. But it's really gritty. The sawdust almost feels like you're milling something that's made out of sand.
How does your blades hold up? Is it faster, or is it wear your blades out faster?
It's just a step below milling white oak.
Yeah. So it's all right on white oak.
Yeah.
You run a 7 degree?
Yeah, just a 7 degree. Just standard. I was actually just using a standard Norwood blade. But
there you go.
We put all that in the loft of the barn. You, of course, stickered it and put it in the loft and put some weight on it. And it's one of those things, man. It comes with getting old. It's like, okay, I think that's been in the barn for probably 6 to 8 months. I think I could probably start doing something with it. And I thought, well, let me go back. I did a 2-part video on milling nets. Let me just go back and see when it was. It was almost 2 years ago. And I thought, okay, that's definitely, I only did 4/4 milling on it. So it's like, that should definitely be dry enough. So I brought it in, and I just put a helical cutter on my planer, my 15-inch planer. And man, when that thing was planing that smooth, that's some pretty wood, because it has such a tight grain and such a clean grain. It really turned out nice as far as the finish goes.
got a big giant beech tree. It's probably 28, 30 inches at the base.
Yeah.
And the wind blew it down, and it blew it where it's literally off the ground, almost the whole entire length of the log. Only just the way it is. So I've got a natural drying system there, so I'm not really rushing to take it out. Plus, it's in a crappy pet place, but so I'm excited to cut up there. And when I seen that, it's like I was meant to comment on that. I'm going to ask about that because that's a big beech tree, and I don't want it to waste. I got 2 down. But hey, I just seen here that Evan from Country View Acres is in the house. I just clicked off of him, and he's going to be our guest next week. So
yes,
he's going to be our guest next week. So we'll get to asking him questions, and I love his channel. Another one of our TYM sponsored channels, and but he is such a you talking about smart. You talking about solar smart. I mean, everything he does is just so well thought out, and I feel so dumb watching his channel. Yeah,
man, he's as nice in person as he is on his channel. So
absolutely,
salt of the earth guy, and I'm looking forward to hanging with him.
Yep. So he look forward to interviewing him next week and kind of just having this kind of conversation. I don't even know if we can call this interviews no more. This is more like you said, a campfire.
I mean, I don't know that anybody really wants to watch an interview. I think that's kind of impersonal. I mean, the cool thing about this thing is that
it's kind of morphing.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna let this take whatever direction it takes, because if y'all enjoy it, we're here.
Well, we're an hour into this thing, and we're still got 59 people watching with us, and yeah.
Well, Troy, what are you working on? What's the big project coming up? Like, what's the
Well, we're actually going up to the cabin in 2 days. We're going to put a whole house solar system in. It's going to be a small setup, but it's I think it's 4,000 watt system. So we'll be working on that.
Is that like a package unit, or is it something you're designing?
It was a kit. So it was a kit that all the different components came as a kit, and so yeah, it's independent stuff you got to put together, but at least it was all pre-laid out for me. I didn't have to sit down and figure out, do I need this or do I need that?
Right.
So it's a good place to start, and then letting me cut my teeth on doing a permanent mount system. Right now, everything's just been portable for us up there. And then if people have watched the channel, probably wonder where I've been on it. But the plan is to get the timber frame structure started for the sawmill shed. We're going to do a sawmill shed, but it's going to be all timber frame.
Are you going to use metal, or are you going to use like hickory pegs?
No, we're going to do, everything's going to be old traditional. No metal, no screws, no nothing.
So that's going to be. I'll be watching that, because I'm too lazy to do the hickory pegs, but
that's really cool though.
I have a lot of respect for people that does it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if I lose my mind, lose my witness at the same time. I hope I don't, but it's
no, you won't. You'll be fine. I got faith in you, brother.
No.
Just call and ask us. We'll pray for you. It'll work.
Yeah. A nice thing about the camera keeps you honest, man. You can't really lose your witness when you have got the camera on.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, so we'll be doing that. We've got some poplar. We're gonna mill it out of poplar. So that's been a little bit of a challenge too. There's not a lot of timber frame engineering specs on tulip poplar or tulip tree. People get aggravated when I say tulip or I say poplar outside of Appalachia, but
that's what our state tree is the tulip poplar. I built all my my post or my trusses for my greenhouse out of tulip poplar.
Yeah, and it's the thing. If you can keep it dry,
that's it.
It'll last forever.
Yeah, there's houses that down in the lower counties of Tennessee that just have somebody's kept them dry, and there's like true 2x4s that are made out of tulip poplar that are 100 years old. Yeah,
and they're hard as rock too. I mean, you try to nail one of those.
It's hardwood.
Yeah.
You go through a lot of drill bits working on that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I've been slowly accumulating over the past year or so, accumulating some of the timber frame tools. And what's crazy, before the war in Ukraine broke out, I got this incredible set of chisels. So I got I think I got a 1.5 inch chisel, a 2 inch chisel, and a 4 inch slick, all custom forged by this guy in the Ukraine. Beautiful hand turned white oak handles. I mean, the handles were 20 some inches long. And I got all that shipped to me for $320. And
oh wow,
gosh,
yeah, it was incredible. And I'm like, oh my goodness, yeah, this one slick would be $400 if you bought it here locally. And man, you could shave with it when you got them, and then you could use the finish on those chisels was so polished you could use it as a mirror. So I've been playing around with those. I just got a 10-inch circular saw, and so
I've seen that. You were using that when you were cutting those. What was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that. I can't what you're doing. I can't remember what I was watching you do. I think it was when you building the deck.
Yeah, it was the deck build. I was using that on my 4x6s. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is I couldn't help this. Wade put this up here. It made me laugh. I wasn't laughing at you. Like
I was laughing too.
State bird of Texas. I mean, the state tree of Texas, poison ivy.
Right, for sure.
That's like the state bird of Louisiana is the mosquito.
Well, the state tree of Tennessee is the TVA towers. Those big, huge TVA towers with the wires going on them. Call them Tennessee trees. So,
I mean, you were saying something about tulip poplar. Not, I want to get back on that real quick. So, I find tulip poplar to be a lot easier to cut. It's a really soft wood to work with, and it doesn't warp bad.
No.
I guess the way the cells of the trees are together, they're pretty even. So when it dries, it doesn't pull. And as long as you keep it dry, I've had great results. But if you let it get wet, it'll rot quick.
Yeah. Ground contact, it'll be done in 1.5 to 2 years.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, we've the thing I like about it, everything you said is exactly what I've seen too, Tony. But it air dries so fast.
Right.
And that's what I love about it, because we don't kiln dry anything here, but that air drying super fast, it comes out great, and really, really happy with that. I've got a big stack. I've probably got 600 board feet that are air dried right now, and that's supposed to become shiplap for the cabin. Kelly wants to try a whitewash stain, so we're going to do that once I can get all my electrical done. I'm still working on 110 and 12 volt in the cabin. So I'm hoping to have all that wrapped up this weekend so we can start putting the interior walls in. People are kind of wondering, hey, why aren't you doing any interior walls yet? But
so I got a question there about the greenhouse. No, we don't have any problem with mold at all. So we built the greenhouse up higher. So it's higher than all the surrounding areas. So we got good drainage. I built the posts in the ground were all white oak, and then I put it in the ground with Fast 2K. And the Fast 2K, it bonds around the wood and waterproofs it. So reality is that will most likely, they use that on utility posts. So, if you understand, they put utility posts in the ground for 50 years, hanging electric lines, and that's been really well tested. And so those are in the ground with Fast 2K. And then the actual trusses that are up in the air are all tulip poplar. I will say that I misread some of my logs when I cut them, and they've split because I put them up wet, and but structurally they're still completely. I would hang a 350 engine off of any one of them.
Yeah.
So you without even thinking twice about it. Yeah. I always made
there's a lot of wives out there that watch their the husband likes to watch the homesteading channels, and the wife just sits there and watches along, and then that greenhouse came up. There's a lot of wives out there saying, "Hey, I'd like to have one of those."
Yeah, exactly.
The greenhouse it's beautiful. Like
I made a lot of husbands mad making that video. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You didn't make me mad. I just want to know if you'll come help me build one, because it is gorgeous.
We'll get you Sawmill cranked up, buddy. We get it done.
We will. It'd be awesome.
So Troy, you got a question there from Kevin.
Oh yeah. So my most difficult build. I saw that pop up, and it gave me a little time to think about that. So Kevin, I think if I think about something that was so challenging, it'd have to be one of my first builds, simply because I just didn't know what I was doing. So in 2000, when we bought this place, we built, I mentioned it before, we built a 24 by 32, just poured a concrete slab, did everything myself. My folks helped, of course, and my brother helped. And there's a 24 by 32, what we called a garage apartment. And I was 27 years old. I didn't know anything. It was just one of those things. It's like, okay, what do I do next? What do I do next? How do I do this? And a lot of mistakes are made. And in fact, some of those mistakes are still haunting me a bit, because that building is my workshop. I didn't put any vapor barrier under my concrete slab. So there's a lot of moisture comes up through that concrete. Sure. But yeah, that was the trickiest. And it was something that was really frustrating, and even to the point where I thought, do I really have any business doing this stuff? Am I just inept at being able to use my hands? And that's just one of those things. Just kind of had to knuckle down and say, well, this is the first building you've ever built, so there's obviously going to be mistakes. And so I had to learn from that and move on. But that was probably the one that confounded me the most. Now if I find something difficult, I like to make it a challenge. And if it's something I go set on fire a day later because it's just not working out, then it's fine. So, sometimes it goes that direction. But yeah, that
nice part about having a sawmill.
Exactly. Yeah, all that free material to do whatever you want with. So yeah.
I get a little shout out here, Smitty. Appreciate that, man. It means a lot to me to hear that warms my heart. That's really what we started a channel, was to help people with tractors, and it's kind of morphed into just following our life and what we do, and hope everybody learns something. Learn something from my mistakes, and I'm sure that's how everybody is here on the channel. We show our mistakes, and I think that's a great thing about what we do.
Yeah.
It's a nice compliment by a 2911 Homestead, saying that this is a highlight of my week. I love seeing all the creators I watch just chat. Thank you so much. I assume that's Jeremiah 2911, which is why you have it there. That's my favorite verse, which is, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They're plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future full of hope." When you go through dark times, that verse can be interpreted many different ways, but that's always been my favorite verse. So my kids actually gave me a Christmas ornament one time where they recorded their voices saying it, which is really
cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
very nice.
Do y'all use I use a Bible app every morning that it randomly gives me scripture. And I find that to be so it's happened so many times that this so-called randomly hits me right square between the eyes. That I'm like, this can't be really that random. And so yeah, I got my phone set up where first thing I do in the morning is I get a scripture. So I don't know, just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah,
technology can, I always say, you can take your car and go to church, or you can take your car and go to the red light district.
Yep.
Well, my buddy Tony sends me a lot of those verses, which I very much appreciate.
Yep. So you're my prayer warrior, buddy. You and Hank. Yep. Yeah. Well, you guys
need it, brother.
Yeah. Mike Evans is going to step out on us. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, Mike.
Now this is my nephew, and I don't know if you guys. I don't want to embarrass him, but he is a preacher now. He has been called to the Lord to preach, and he has been preaching at several churches, going all over, fill in for different preachers, and does a great job. God's got big things for him.
That's amazing.
Yeah. God's just proud I can read, and he comes and and he knows the word. Yeah, he's a young man compared to me, and he knows the word way better than I do. I'm always so impressed.
Country Roads Life, just that I just got chills when I read that. Seriously, thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you for your service, man.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, we're coming. We've ate over an hour already. We got 77 people here, so we're still talking. All right, I got one more note. I just realized on the back side of my pad here. You got Pastured Pig podcast. Yeah. What's that all about? So I started listening to some of your podcasts today, and I was like, you're really getting deep off into this stuff.
Yeah, so obviously there's a very finite audience for that podcast, but just realizing that there's such, when it comes to raising pigs, obviously there's centuries of information, and of course when you look at modern agriculture, there's just tons and tons of stuff how to raise a pig in a big building with 12,000 or 20,000 of his closest friends, and that's just not the direction we go. We go more. I'll pull some of Joel Salatin's quotes. We let a pig be a pig. We let it explore its pigness, the way God created it.
Right.
And so
I love that.
When you do this type of stuff, there's not as much data behind it. And so just realizing wow, that we need a resource that when people are starting, we want to encourage people to do more and more regenerative agriculture and raise, take responsibility, raise their own food, that type of thing. So if they're going to put a pig on their homestead, they think, okay, do I do like my grandpa or my grandma did, or great grandma and grandpa, and make a 10 by 10, corral or stall here, pen that's just super strong, toss him in there, the mud and the stink that build up in 6 to 12 months and then kill him and eat him. And we're saying, no, there's so much more that you can do with that. And actually, instead of dealing with smell and thinking a pig is a dirty animal, if you put it out more in a natural habitat and you manage that, you not only get incredibly tasting pork that's more healthy for you,
right,
but you also get an opportunity to build soil, improve land. I always say, my pigs are my pioneers. So as we're trying to clear land, like we call it silvopasture. So there's a nice combination of trees and pasture grass. So it's not just stark hillside. But they go west. That's the direction we're heading. So they go and they clear underbrush. They eat poison ivy. They are the best things for clearing underbrush. So all these things, it's like, if we can just get an opportunity for people to tell their stories and their uniqueness of each of their farms, then that would be a good resource for people. So I started the podcast. I didn't think anybody would listen to it. And I think I just recorded the 128th episode. It'll be live in September. So I record them in banks and release them, but we do one every 2 weeks, and it's an interview style. I'll find somebody they could be just starting out. It's like, hey, I just got my pigs yesterday. I want to come on the podcast. And it's kind of a whole different way. We talk about, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to do that? To somebody that says, well, I've been doing this for 10 years now, and I've got 300 head, and we're shipping stuff all over the country. So it's been a nice eclectic group of people that come in and talk. But I think it's been a really good resource. I found it incredible because I learned so much just being a host of that and talking with people. And then, of course, the feedback I get back says, people have really been able to find a lot of information and save them from going through a lot of struggle and through making the same mistakes that I've made and other people have made. So you get to stand on the shoulders of other people that have done it. So it's worked out pretty cool. I've been happy with it.
So Troy, I got a question for you. Does a pig have, I would think it does, but like, does a pig have a predator? Like, do coyotes attack pigs? I mean, I assume they could fight back, right? Like,
yeah. So that's the thing. That's a very common question I get, Joe. And yeah, something can take down a piglet, most likely. Right. I mean, and that's the thing when you do pastured pigs, and if you farrow, where they have a litter, when you farrow on farm, usually you want to bring that closer in. Now we do electric fence. That's how you keep them in the spots you want them and keep them out of the spots you don't want them. And what's crazy, and the reason why I actually got into pigs was, you can get away with one single strand of electric wire about 12 inches off the ground, and that keeps a pig in. Because it's psychological. They could obviously run through that in a heartbeat, but it's psychological for them. So that electric fence helps deter a little bit of the predation from coming in. But you get a pig that's 6 weeks old, and he's like a little bullet. I mean, he's just a speed tank type of thing. So A, they're tough to catch, and B, they're really strong and they can squirm. They can escape. Coyote's going to have a hard time grabbing a 6-week-old pig and do anything with it. And not to mention if we wean at 8 weeks. So if there's a piglet that's 6 weeks or younger around, then mama's there and she'll mess you up. Of the 12 years that I've had pigs, just this year I got knocked down by one of my sows, and that's the first time in 12 years I've ever been knocked down. But I was just being stupid. I picked up one of her piglets because it was injured, and I knew she was ticked off, and I picked it up and just held on to it a little too long. And I thought, she was about 10 feet away. I thought I had 2 steps on her, but I didn't. I only had one.
Yeah.
So she put me on
pretty quick now.
Oh yeah, they are fast.
That's fascinating. So they're almost like goats in that way. They clear the underbrush and they like to live in the trees, and they, that's what Evan was saying, that they like to live in, trees and kind of go wild. So it's almost
better for them. If we work out, we're more healthy. If they work out, they're more healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me answer this question real quick. Can you speak to the advantage of dual rear remotes? Well, I'll tell you one advantage is some implements you'll put on that they'll only have one rear remote, or need for only one rear remote. But then that leaves you the ability to have a hydraulic top link. So for an example, if you have a back blade that has a hydraulic turn pivot point on the actual blade, well, then you can also use a hydraulic top link to adjust it up and down. So it just gives you more flexibility. And then you have things like an offset flail mower, like a ditch bank mower, which requires you to swing the arm out for one motion and then turn your head up and down for another motion. So that's 2 different circuits. So for a circuit is just 2 outlets, and basically when you push the valve one way, fluid's coming out one valve, and you push the other way, fluid's coming out the other valve. And whichever one is not, pressure is not coming out, it means the other one's turning back and going back into your sump. So one's always a release back to your sump, and one is always pressure out. So and then when you put it in neutral, which is the middle, it locks both of them in place and keeps the hydraulic fluid in place. And that's why the cylinders don't move in and out. And there are systems that will let that. That's really getting in the weeds.
Yeah, Smitty, I can actually answer that question too, because when that tractor was delivered, sometimes I'll do like batch filming, right? I'll do a couple of videos filming it on one day, and I filmed the tractor showing up and kind of showing that, but then I did another video of where that 5520 comes with 2 remotes. One is a springing remote and one is a detent.
Right. That's another good
right?
Point. Yeah.
And,
another good point. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The springing one is where I hooked up a hydraulic top link, to Tony's point. I mean, listen, y'all, if you don't have a hydraulic top link, probably a lot of folks do in here. It is the best thing in the world. And I think I paid it was on Amazon for like $175, delivered to my door, free shipping. And for $175 for the life of that tractor, I don't have to leave the cab to ever turn a turnbuckle for the top link. So you just, the springy one, you push forward, push back, and it will spring back to where it is. A detent is going to be more where you have continuous flow, to Tony's point. And,
for
and you can use backhoe, hydraulic log splitters that work off the back.
There's a few implements that have,
but you can also use it as, you can also use it as springing too, though. Cause like, if you
just have to manually put it back.
Right. And you'll feel it click. You'll feel like, you pull it out and put it back in. Cause like I've used the Balmalite brush mulcher, and I'm actually using a detent when I'm opening and closing that flap, because I have 2 remotes on that machine, and it has a hydraulic top link, and it has, the detent. So
a lot of good information in here, guys. We got 80 people in here. We're already an hour, and we keep getting.
Hey, we're learning. I'm learning things. I just like to hear Troy talk, man. I'm gonna hop on that podcast and hear some piggy talk.
That's right. So Troy, I don't know if we ever talked about this. I'm getting hoarse. We've been doing this so long. But
up a little bit.
I know I'm kind of
You've been talking for an hour. You like to talk.
I'm not a good talker. But I grew up on a pig farm, and I used to think about this when I was a kid. We had 2 buildings. Each building had 2,500 head. I don't remember if we talked about that or not. And I always thought to myself, this can't be healthy, but it was just mass production. And that's what at that time the Department of Agriculture said do. You could do this, you give them a whole bunch of steroid shots and a whole bunch of antibiotic shots, and pat them on the butt, feed them as much as you can, wash the pen out, once or twice a week, and carry them to the slaughterhouse. And then we had a farrowing house, and we also raised out some feeder pigs on open field. Well, I mean, back when I was a kid, I noticed that the pigs that we got from the field were better. The meat was better. There's just less fat, more actual meat. So there's a lot to that.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. So here's a pop quiz for you.
All right.
And maybe just since you grew up on a pig farm, Tony, you probably know this. And Joe, I'm not saying you're ignorant on this, but maybe you're not that familiar with it. So
it's okay.
What color is a pork chop? What color is a roll pork chop? When you picture that in your mind, like if you're going to the store and you see pork chops, what color is it?
Usually they're white, but they should be red, right?
Yeah, they're white, really light pink. Right. Now, if I would go to my freezer and pull out one of the pork chops from one of my pastured pigs, you would think it's a steak, same color. And the reason why is exactly what Tony said. When you keep a pig is not a ruminant. A pig is an omnivore like us. It wants to eat all kinds of things. In fact, it needs more protein sources because it can extract that from grasses and grains as well. That's why they have to keep dumping a lot of soy in and doing all that type of stuff in the feeds. But Country Roads Life posted a question here that actually fits well into what we're getting ready to say. And when you put a pig out in the woods or out on pasture, you've got all of this forage, and a pig will eat grass. Again, it's an omnivore just like us, just like we like to eat salads at times. So
we're not even really good omnivores though.
Yeah. So, but it's also going to eat, like mine eats snakes. Mine will eat, basically anything that runs through the pasture.
Absolutely.
not to be gross, but after hunting season, and I've put a deer down, then you know what I do with the carcass? It goes to the pigs, because they'll eat it all the way down to the bones. There won't be a scrap of it left. But if you finish like we do, to my left, you're all's right, I guess, is a white oak stand on my south ridge, and that's where I try to finish my pigs in the fall before they get processed. And of course, you have all that mast on the ground here in the Appalachian hardwood forest. We got oak, we got hickory, we've got walnut. The beech nuts, the beech have kind of already run their course, but they finish on that oak, and you get an incredible flavor profile. You get a much better marbling throughout the meat. And then Country Roads said something about Iberico ham. You know, that's the top dollar ham, where they take these pigs and rotate them through these orchards where they're eating all this mast, all of this protein. So you can augment the flavor profile just by affecting the feed at the beginning and especially at the end when it comes to that. And it's just incredible to see what you can do with that, and how well pigs do when they're out in the woods.
I mean, just the nuts have so much fat, and I'll say this: pigs are a better omnivore than we are. We are very poor omnivores. But the pigs, when they go out and eat all the nuts and berries and forage through all through the woods, they're processing it a lot better than we can, and that's a big, huge fat source for them too. You wouldn't think about it, but hickory nuts and acorns, they have a lot of fat in them. And
that's the first time I've ever heard you say acorn, by the way.
Acorn. Listen, I'm speaking weekly. I'm speaking weekly county.
Yeah. I usually hear people say acorn.
Acorns.
Yeah.
Listen,
but you were talking about.
I can get this at home. I don't need it here.
Right. Exactly.
Tanya's texting me. Give Tony a hard time on the live stream.
Oh yeah, Kevin.
Kevin.
Something you should not feed your pig. Don't feed them pork. And if you're going to do pork for resale, then your state and federal government's going to tell them, okay, you can't feed them post-consumer waste. So you can't go to a local restaurant, get that food, bring it home, and dump it to your pig. They're going to tell you have to boil it first, because there's a lot of foodborne diseases that can be passed between humans and pigs, because we have a very similar physiology when it comes to our digestive system. Right. Now, if you're raising your pigs for your own consumption, you're not going to sell it. You feed them whatever you want, table scraps, all that type of stuff. I've yet to find something that isn't bad for a pig as far as going to kill it. But just think about it. If you are what you eat in that situation. So like my neighbor, I would trade for using his livestock trailer. I would give him a couple piglets that he would raise out, and he was kind of old school. He put them in a 6x6 pen and just slopped the feed to them and gave them whatever. And he came home one day with a truckload of Krispy Kreme donuts. He had gone by the Krispy Kreme, and they were throwing out all their old inventory, putting it in the dumpster. And he brought all that home, and he came over to our place. He said, I'm gonna feed half of this to my pigs. Do you want it for yours? I'm like, no, that's all right, man. You take it all. You went dumpster diving, you get it. But it's like, there's no way in the world I'm going to give my pigs a truckload of Krispy Kreme donuts, because just like it would do to us, it's going to do the same thing to the pig, and it's going to affect your flavor. It's going to affect all of that. So if you do a kind of a one feed style thing there, then you're going to end up getting a much narrower flavor profile.
Yeah. Well, that Krispy Kreme, that'd be a glazed pork chop, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good.
There you go. Now you got me making me want to raise a couple of pigs back here. We're clearing a 5-acre pasture. How big a pasture I need for how many pigs?
All right, 5 acres. What's your underbrush look like?
There's going to be no underbrush.
Okay.
I mean, we're actually clearing a pasture. I mean, I got trees, and I mean, I could fence out through the trees as well.
Oh man, you could raise 10.
I got 10 acres back there that I could enclose.
You could do 10 pegs per acre as long as you rotate. So like if you took that 5 acres and you busted into 5 different paddocks, you could easily do 10 pigs on 4 of those 5 paddocks and allow 1 to rest. So just think about it in a rotation process. You could do that, but obviously you don't need 50 pigs. If it's just for your consumption, I recommend 2 to 3 pigs. You never want to have just 1 pig, because a pig is a herd animal. It's going to be lonely, and it's going to go try to find friends.
I had a pet pig growing up.
Did you? Was it a pot belly, or was it?
No, it's a regular pig. Just I raised it, and that pig thought it was a dog. It went to the food bowl for the dogs that eat food first. The dogs eat second.
Yeah.
And that pig loved me, followed me around the yard. I could get on the pig's back and ride all over the yard.
Yeah.
I would like to have pictures of that. That'd be like me sitting on a 25,
I'm sure my sister
tractor.
can find those pictures, but they're out there with a.
So
can a pig?
that's
a good question here. Yeah, that and one day that
pigs.
pig came up missing, and we had a lot of extra bacon. I don't understand. Yeah. I don't know what happened.
So Scott's question there. Yes, Scott, a pig can survive without supplemental feed. It's just depends on what you want to do with that pig. It's going to slow down its growth rate. So if you're looking for a quick turn, if you go with some of these non-heritage breed pigs that you can still raise on pasture, then you're going to get a full-size pig in 6 months if you're giving it a healthy ration or even giving it what's called free choice feed. If you're just going to say, well, I want that pig to kind of roam and do his own thing, then yeah, that's fine. You may go 12 months to 14 months before you get to a finished size. If you're just raising it for yourself, there's not a problem at all because you're going to save that money. You just got to keep an eye on the pig. If the pig starts to look gaunt and looks like it's got some health issues, then you may need to give it a little bit of carbohydrate and some extra protein maybe. It all depends on the forage as well.
If you guys see my eyes rolling around in my head here, I'm trying to remember that pig's name. That was like, 50 years ago. And,
right.
and yeah, I'm like 5 or 6 years old riding around on this pig. This pig thought it was a dog. And now I have to go ask Mama what the pig's name was because Evan. I'll report back to you next week.
Yeah, Troy, I can see Tony with 50 pigs on that property, and Tanya's not going to let him slaughter one of them.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the problem.
I promise you, we do pigs and goats. I have to do it because once she has anything to do with it, they're pets from here on out.
Yeah.
Evan said, "Is it Wilbur? Was the name Wilbur?"
Wilbur.
Well, Tony, the one thing. So I did a video about this, and it's funny. I didn't think it would do much, but it's really had a lot of traction. But it was talking about if you want to clear land, you need to get pigs, and it was kind of me comparing pigs to goats.
Right.
And I'm biased. I don't like goats. I think they look like the spawn of Satan. But
hey, tell us how you really feel. I don't want you holding back. Okay.
Right. Yeah. But they obviously browse, they eat things down. But what we want when we're clearing land, especially, the kind of land that we're dealing with here in our area, the mid-Atlantic area, you want to have some of that stuff uprooted. And so, I assume you guys have multiflora rose like we do. I assume you have autumn olive like we do. So that type of stuff, if you can encourage the pig to have interest in that. So like if we have these huge multiflora rose bushes, the pigs will eat all around it, clear out. It's not their favorite thing to eat. But what I'll do is I'll sometimes walk by with a handful of feed corn, toss it right in the middle of that multiflora rose bush or that autumn olive bush, and come back next day. And that greenbrier or that multiflora rose is uprooted. The multiflora or the autumn olive is uprooted, and then I can pick it up and put it on a brush pile. So they're going to come through and they're going to grub out the things that you want grubbed out. Now they'll also grub out the things you don't want. So if there's certain trees you want to keep, then you got to protect those. And we're talking about saplings, not huge lumber type stuff. But they will do a great job with that type of stuff.
Now we're getting into the weeds of this pig thing.
Oh yeah,
that's a good question right there because when we race 5,000 pigs at a time, I don't remember even the red ones and white ones. I can't remember what they were.
Duroc.
Yeah,
Duroc.
And they were bred specifically for that kind of mass production. Yeah. What about somebody like me that's going to have a couple of pigs that are we're going to feed out and they're going to be free ranged? What would you choose starting out? Something simple.
Yeah, so this kind of gets into saying what's the best tractor brand out there, and you ask 5 guys. And
TYM, everybody knows that.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're going to look at first? So what I would ask Scott or in your scenario, Tony, is just say, okay, what are you raising for? If you're going to raise for personal consumption,
yes.
If you want something small that's really manageable, that you like a lot of fat, so you want a lot of lard, then you can go with some of the lard pigs like the Cooney or the American Guinea hog, the IPP, the what's called the Idaho pastured pig. Some of those things. I'm not a big fan of those because you put a lot of work in. Yeah, the pig's small, it's cute, it's easier to handle, it doesn't eat as much feed.
No, we want ugly pigs.
Yeah, so I if you want an ugly pig, get a Michon. My goodness, those things are uglier and homemade.
Anything that's cute, it's a pet. I'm just saying, we can't go that road. It can't look cute.
Yeah, I like. They all look cute, man. My goodness, especially when you get them as wean pigs, they're just hilarious to watch. It's like
I'm just hoping Tanya's not watching this.
Yeah, it's like a cat with a dog personality. So they all bounce around, they spring around, they do all this jumping stuff, but they got a personality of a dog, so you actually like them versus a cat. But, yeah, I would look at kind of a heritage breed. There's actually old line Duroc, which you'd be familiar with the commercialized branch of that. But there's old line Duroc, there's old line Hampshire. I have large black, red wattle. I've raised red wattle recently. Those are great.
So if you want more meat, what would you recommend?
Well, if you want, like, if you like bacon, if you like a lot of bacon,
I like a lot of bacon. I eat bacon every day.
So, and so in that category,
we done burnt your internet up, man.
Am I still there?
Yeah. We're burning. They're throttling you now.
Yeah, probably so. Well, I think everybody in the house is streaming something different, actually. So, but yeah, there's a lot of options out there, and yeah, we could spend 2 hours talking about that, so I won't belabor the point. But yeah, there's a lot of different things you can look into.
I love that one.
I remember seeing a comment one time. I'm not getting political, but if somebody said, "I don't understand why people have to be hunters. Why don't they just get the meat they make at the store?"
That's right.
Right. Yeah. That's how disconnected we are from our food. So
we really are. And
you see that? I didn't realize Dave was here.
Oh, hey, Dave.
Yeah, this is Dave. Now, this is another one of the guys I watched in Afghanistan, watching him on his sawmill. We met him at the show in Canada too. I didn't even see him. I didn't even know he was in here.
Yeah.
He's an awesome dude. No, you're talking about somebody who knows about some sawmilling. Now, that cat knows about some sawmilling.
Oh yeah. He's another guy that sweats sawdust for sure.
That's a fact.
Troy, Colt's asking you to start that over again, just real quickly, about like the difference between a bacon, because Tony said he eats bacon every day.
I think I interrupted.
And then the Starlink must have gotten.
Oh yeah. Where you got throttled.
So there's a term called conformation. It's basically just the body style of a pig. So if you like bacon, you want a pig that's longer. It's longer between the front legs and longer between the back legs. So kind of like a limousine versus a sedan. And you have like the large black is a long one. There's some landrace breeds that are kind of bred to be longer. Red wattle is a taller torso, so you get more vertical pork belly versus the length of pork belly. So those work out well. What you got to watch is the little stubby pigs like the coonies and the AGHs, those type of things. They're much smaller pigs, so they produce a lot less bacon. They have tons and tons of lard. So if you're really into lard and that type of stuff, then those are good pigs. But if you want lard on a bigger pig, you can manage that as well with feed choice.
Another question for you here. I'm not smart enough to even. You guys understand when I was raising pigs, I left in 1986, so that was the last time I had anything to do with pigs.
Yeah. Okay. So the best way to get a whole pig that you want to have processed. So really, I can't encourage this more. There are people in here just from doing the podcast interview. I know every single state has somebody doing what we do here, and lots of people doing that. So just start looking for pastured pigs near me. If you want to reach out to me and just tell me what your address is, I've got some indexes that I can reference. We can look at, just kind of putting some things out on some of the forums. There's a lot of great forums or groups on Facebook, and you can reach that. And then you can just have that conversation with the farmer, get to know the farmer to say, how are you raising your pigs? Are you non-GMO? Are you organic? Are you soy free? Whatever is important to you, you can ask those questions and then say, yeah, I'd like to get a whole hog from you. They'll probably ask you to put a simple deposit down, and then 6 to 10 months later, they'll call you and say, hey, we're ready to go. I need your cut sheet, or I want to go over the cut sheet with you. Tell me how you want your pig processed. And then you meet up to pick up your pig. You pay the processing fee, and you pay the farmer the remaining balance of the cost per pound of hanging weight is usually
that could be me in another year.
There you go, man.
You guys you sparked some interest. No kidding, you really have.
Well, here's the rule that I started with, and I think it's kind of what allowed me to get my legs under for talking pastured pigs. If you're going to start with pigs, get 3.
Get 3.
So you get 3. You get 1 to eat, 1 to give to family or sell to a friend. So that covers your feed costs. So now those pigs are free. And then your third one is your wild card. Do you want to breed it because you really liked what you got? And so, if it's, it has to be a female, because most of the time you're going to get a castrated male, a barrow. But if it's a female, you want to breed it. And then you can start your own cycle, do some of your own farrowing, or you can decide, well, I'm going to put that pig in my freezer as well, and maybe half it with somebody. So not only did you get your feed costs covered, but you put a little money in your pocket. And
so how many piglets will a pig have?
If it's a good sow, 15 to 16.
Yeah. We had a pairing house, so we had a lot of pigs.
And that's how they breed them out too. Like, if I have a sow that does less than 10, she's got 1 strike against her. She does another one less than 10, then she's on the trailer next time. Yeah. But I usually get 14 to 15 viable per litter is what I shoot for. We've had a little trouble here lately. In fact, we're getting ready to rotate all of our breed stock out and start all over in the spring, because we're ready to try something new.
Right. And clearly, I mean, this may sound ignorant, but like, they don't breed with each other, so you just sell them all.
So the piglets I raise, I will castrate the boars at an early age. So of course they can't breed at that point. And you usually raise those up as what you call feeder pigs. You raise them up to sell to people. The gilts, which is a female pig that is yet to be bred or is yet to have babies. Sow would be the one that's had babies. So the gilts, you can raise them up, and I just look at their conformation, say, how does this one do? Does this one have a bad attitude? Does this one have, you look at conformation, which is, your teats, how they line up. You look at the haunt, you start to just examine a pig and see, does it have the characteristics I want to continue?
Your buddy's there for you.
Yeah. Matt never gives me a break. He's always going me there. But yeah, you can do that. You can raise them out and sell them. And then kind of keep the one back that you want to keep if you have that situation. And with pigs, you can line breed them too. So you can breed, if you have characteristics you like, you can take daddy and breed him to daughter. It's not like you're going to have a bunch of banjo playing pigs. It's going to be,
I would actually love that. That would be, I'm a guitar player, so I would love that. I mean, I've got a guitar right here, so I'm like,
there you go, right? Yeah.
If I can get a banjo, maybe get one to play the drums, another one on the bass. I mean, we'd start a little piggy bank.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, we always joke that if you get traits from line breeding you don't like, that's when you call it inbred. I have an inbred pig because you didn't like what turned out. But if you liked what turned out, you say, "Oh, this has been line bred." So it's just a different way to put lipstick on a pig, I guess.
Yeah. Oh man, I did not think that we would go into
this deep
pig knowledge. Yeah, well, pig knowledge was not on my bingo card for this live stream. Right, but
been very illuminating, and makes me now. I'm thinking, ditch the goats and go with the pigs, because I at least I know pigs. It's not. It won't be as hard of a learning curve dealing with them.
You've got a lot.
Goat, I mean, goat meat's delicious too, though. I mean, both of them are. I mean,
I love goat meat.
But Troy, I'm with you. It's something about the eyeball of a goat. Those eyeballs are just—it's hard to get past.
Those square pupils, yeah. Well, I'll tell you.
So I got a hole right here that through my lip when I was a kid. A billy goat come up behind me and knocked me down into where they cut the weeds off. The stalk was sticking up and right through my lip.
Oh, gracious!
Yeah.
Well, a pig's going to have a lot less disease issues than a goat.
I told everybody that when I was young, that was from fighting. I was tough. I beat up somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Reality, it was a billy goat that
got beat up by a billy goat.
Yeah. He's a big
I don't want
goat.
to keep people here too long, Tony.
Yeah. I gotta tap out too. I mean, I did not get this beautiful without sleeping. I've got to have my beauty sleep.
Right.
Well, I mean, gosh, Tony, you get up. What time do you get up? 4:45, 5 o'clock.
I do. I get up at 4:30 and go to the gym every morning. So I'm generally walking through the gym door at 5 a.m.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Man, Tony's made a huge lifestyle change, man. He's dedicated. It's inspiring.
Troy here is. I talked to him at the show when we was in Canada, and now he's trying the carnivore. So
yeah, I'm day 13 on carnivore.
Day 13. Day 4 sucked though, didn't it?
It did suck, but I'm down. I'm down 15 pounds already though.
I see it in your face. I didn't want to say nothing, but I can tell. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Gaunt. Fading away.
All right. Well, look, we've been here. We still got 66 people watching us. This is by far the longest live stream we've ever done. But I've
learned a lot, man. Troy, this has been probably a treat, man. This is
to have you back, man, and just do a whole live stream about pigs.
Anytime.
I think that is we let everybody know, like we're going to do a couple of weeks from now, we're going to start doing the about deer food and food plots, and then we're going to do another one about how to everything, the 5 myths about white-tailed deer hunting. I think people are going to come to that for the information, and I think you have a great knowledge on. It's actually a lost knowledge, because a lot of things you say jog memories about things from my childhood.
Yeah,
and it's like, that sounds right. And I would love to have you back on at a later time and just talk pigs. Sure, I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
So much of this is lost. I know we're just such a fast food world right now, and some of this knowledge, my wife and I, we talk a lot about, things like we lost her grandmother last year, and just the canning knowledge, and we're still eating green beans that she canned, a couple of years ago, and it's just that connection, man. Like all these things that we've lost, and one day we may need this knowledge again.
Yeah.
So. Right. It's really, I think that it's a calling. I think it's a blessing that you're sharing it with people. And I think that is very, very noble. And I'm appreciative of that. So thanks, man. You have a new subscriber on the podcast coming up here soon.
There you go. All right. Yeah, we just started putting the podcast, even though it's audio only, we just started putting it on the YouTube channel as well. So you can get it through all the podcast feeds, but also on YouTube. So it's
if you guys are from Joe's channel or my channel, Troy from Red Tool House Homestead, y'all go there and subscribe to his channel. I guarantee he's as much entertaining there as he is here, and he shows all the good and the bad. I love that fact right there. So absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to subscribe to Tony's channel and my channel also, listen, we're not gonna.
Yeah, I'm not gonna turn it down.
Exactly. It's actually free today. We're waiving all membership costs are free today.
Yeah, waiving all 3 for 1 special tonight.
3 for 1. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, last call on a question. I think about got them all. Appreciate everybody coming in. Let's see, got one more that's worthwhile right here. Check it out. My grandmother's 101 is always teaching us what she called the real way to do stuff. I'm telling you what, they need some real ways of doing stuff too.
That's absolutely.
For sure. Scott, brother, journal that stuff, man. Like when she tells you that stuff, I mean, if she's okay getting recorded or journal it, I mean that.
Thank you, Kevin.
There's a lot of knowledge we just don't want to lose.
Yeah,
good deal.
One more pair right there. That was, same thing. I wish I paid more attention to my grandparents, and this makes me want to go back and talk to my mom. My mom is so smart on the stuff. She knows how to do things. They grew up on the farm, and she just knows how to do things. I need to go pick her brain some more. Listen, guys, I got to get up here in a few hours and go try to stay a little bit younger than I am. And I appreciate it, all you guys out here. Thank you for joining us. It's been a blessing, and absolutely. God bless you all too, man. Kevin, appreciate you.
We'll see you all next week with Evan from Country View Acres.
Evan from Country. Yep, he's same time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, depending on where you're at. And I don't know the rest of them. So, guess it goes downhill from there, right?
That's right.
I mean, hang on, I gotta get my fingers out way.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's 6 o'clock if it's this one. I don't even know what's after us, but guys, I appreciate you a bunch. We're going to log off here, and God bless. Have a great night.
All right. Thank y'all so much.
Good talking.